Right now on Upfront.
The expanding race.
The system is rigged. I'm running for governor to fix it.
I've been fighting for Wisconsin alongside you.
The battle to be Wisconsin's next governor. 2 new candidates entering the race and more just days away. This Sunday, our new interviews with the newest candidates. State Senator Kelda Roys. Where do you fall along the lines? And State Representative Franchesca Hong.
So are you the most liberal candidate in the primary so far? Then the expected announcement from Congressman Tom Tiffany.
What does Tom Tiffany do to this race?
The 2 other Republicans, Josh Schoeman and Bill Berrien, already reacting with us ahead of it all. And ballot box changes.
Some of these things Republicans may not like either.
Sweeping legislation set to be introduced this week targeting Wisconsin elections ahead of the midterms. Absentee voting, Monday processing, security. We'll get to it all right here. Representative Scott Krug breaking down the proposed changes just moments away.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Another week, another round of candidates jumping in the race for governor, and it is not the end. Congressman Tom Tiffany expected to launch in just days.
The Democratic field expanding. State Senator Kelda Roys and State Representative Franchesca Hong both entering the race this past week. And now the battle for primary voters and money. We begin with Kelda Roys on the campaign trail. When we look at this expanding Democratic field, money is going to be a factor in this. How do you feel fundraising is going to go? Have you gotten any good signs in the first 24 hours?
Absolutely. The response has been incredible. In a primary, every dollar matters. And so we have had a great response from our donors. We've raised over $75,000 in less than 24 hours. It's not slowing down, it's just speeding up.
When you look at there could be half a dozen plus Democrats in this race, where do you fall along the lines in terms of how liberal of a Democrat you are?
You know, I think I'm a very common sense Democrat. I was born in Marshfield. I spent my early years in rural Taylor County. I'm probably the only gubernatorial candidate that had a pet goat as a child. And so I've spent my whole career, not just my 5 years in the Senate, traveling around the state, listening to people and hearing their concerns, and then working in all different kinds of legislative environments. I've been able to pass really important legislation on things like the cost of living, public education, reproductive health, healthcare in general, whether Democrats, Republicans, or both have been in control in the legislature. And that's what we need from a governor. You're on the Joint Finance Committee, does a lot of budget work. You voted against the budget in the state Senate. Did the governor make a mistake in coming to that agreement with Republicans? You know, the governor is in a difficult position given where Republicans are in the legislature. But I think that when our schools have not even gotten an inflationary increase in 15 years, we simply cannot pass a budget that has zero increased dollars in general school aids. Would you have signed that budget? No, I would have hopefully been in a stronger position with a Democratic legislature, or at least one house in the legislature. But given where we are today? Yeah, I think that I voted against the budget because it really didn't meet our kids' needs. And for me, that's the ultimate test. Is this budget going to do what our kids need and deserve for our school? In terms of those priorities and your other priorities that you've laid out so far in your campaign, is that going to result in raising taxes? Do you have to raise taxes to meet your priorities? Well, I think there's a lot that we can do in getting new revenue sources, like, for instance, legalizing, taxing, and regulating cannabis, the same way that every other state around us has already done. We're leaving hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, sending it to Illinois and Michigan because our Republicans have dragged their feet on that. We also have let billionaires and big corporations get away with paying nothing or even getting big bailouts from the state government. Meanwhile, you and I and every other taxpayer are footing the bill for that kind of irresponsible fiscal budgeting. So we really have to restore this idea that everybody has to pay our fair share and to take the tax burden off of the working class and the middle class. So for sure, higher taxes on people you say who are billionaires and corporations. Absolutely. I think that's only fair. And you know what? I am proud to stand by that. I think the vast majority of Wisconsinites, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent, just understand that that's fair. I want to ask you about what we've seen in the past week in response to the Charlie Kirk assassination. I'm curious, have you second-guessed using words like extreme or name your word to describe the president or Republicans or the Trump administration? Well, obviously what happened last week was horrific, and there is no excuse ever for violence. Not against political leaders, not against people we disagree with, not against kids in school or people going to church or the mall or anywhere else. We have got to stop the political violence in this country and the violence in general. But we have to be very honest about what is happening in this country. And when you see a president as reckless and lawless as the one currently at the helm, who is disregarding due process, thinks that the Constitution and the laws of this country do not apply to him and his allies, is using the presidency and weaponizing our government against Americans to line his own pockets and punish his perceived enemies, I don't know what to call that but extreme. And I think that a lot of the struggles that people are having right now with the Democratic Party is that they feel like too many leaders are unwilling to say the truth.
With that, let's bring in State Representative Franchesca Hong, the other Democrat entering the race this past week. Welcome to Upfront.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. So you say that you're going to be a wild card in this race. Let's talk about what this campaign actually looks like. What has the response been in just the first 24 hours?
There has been an overwhelming wave of support. Even a couple of Republicans told me they liked the video. It's been wonderful to see that it's a multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-generational group of supporters who have come out excited about our campaign.
You're joining a growing list of Democratic candidates. Are you the most liberal candidate in the primary so far in this race?
I care about the policies that are going to drastically improve and improve working class people's lives. And so that includes policies like universal child care, guaranteed paid leave. And so being a champion for working class people on economic issues that working class people care about across the state, I think that makes me the strongest candidate.
You mentioned Republicans like in your video. You want to name any names on what Republicans?
I don't think they want me to know, but this is what was reported back to me.
How have donors responded in the first 24 hours? Money's going to be a big part of this.
We're so excited with the grassroots support. We are in tens of thousands that I haven't seen on my campaign before, and they're supporters who are giving, $50 or less. And so we're averaging small dollar donors.
As we look ahead to the primary and the first chunk of this race, you are one of 4 Democrats in the Assembly, part of the Socialist Caucus. I think when some voters, even some Democrats, especially in the rural part of the state, hear that, that might spook them a little bit. What do you tell them?
We're in a moment of fear right now, deep fear, and folks are very concerned about rising costs. And you have to meet fear with moral courage sometimes.
To those swing voters out there across the state that you would need in a general election, let's say they voted for Trump and then Biden and Trump again, maybe they voted for Ron Johnson and Tony Evers in the same election. Why would they vote for you?
I'm a single mom, very proud service industry worker, a community organizer, and a working class person right now. I think a lot of the struggles that I'm having, regardless of my title as state rep, allows me to start a lot of conversations with folks, regardless of where they might identify politically. That requires me going into spaces like bowling alleys, dive bars, pro wrestling matches, and striking up conversations with folks after I, make fun of them for having Miller Lite Light instead of a High Life like I am. This happened in Chippewa Falls, where I had a gentleman share his story about how concerned he was that his 90-year-old mother wasn't going to get to the hospital that she's been to, every week because hospitals in Western Wisconsin have closed.
Some of the issues that you talk about in your campaign launch video include fully funding schools, universal child care, guaranteed paid leave as well. How much would taxes need to increase to fund all of that you want to accomplish?
It's so important that we have a fair taxation system. Wisconsin is one of the places where progressive taxes were born. When we have fair taxation where the top of the tax bracket is paying their fair share, that we are focusing and also being innovative of how to raise revenues, whether that's decriminalizing cannabis or making sure that we are expanding Medicaid. We're going to have challenges, but now is a time where incrementalism is irresponsible, and we need to bring in as many ideas as we can.
Could everyone potentially see a tax increase under your plan in Wisconsin?
Right now, my tax plan is working towards building tax fairness. And I think that is going to be defined. We have to figure out how to meet those metrics and select those metrics. So everyone having, having higher taxes, I don't think that that's going to be something we're working towards at all. That's what we want to avoid. This is about fair taxation.
It is a long road ahead until the August primary. State Representative Franchesca Hong, the newest candidate for governor in the race. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, Republicans set to unveil new election bills in Madison this week. Big proposed changes to absentee voting and ballot drop boxes. Representative Scott Krug is standing by to detail it all next.